Hey everyone, today I'm going to help you cut through the noise of your beautiful mind so that way you can select just one single idea and turn that into income. If you're here, you might be a visionary, you might be a creative, you might be a healer, you might actually be all of these things. You may have multiple disciplines, you may have multiple arts. You may be a very creative person. You may have even sold some of your services or taken some of the disciplines that you do have, created something with them, but you're still maybe a little stuck on how to deliver that product and idea and make it into income. And so that's where I'm here to help you. In a little introduction, my name is Marisa, if we've never met, and if we have, thanks for being here. I'm also a multidisciplinary healer and teacher. So I'm a massage therapist, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a Reiki master healer. I also am an herbalist. I've also taught meditation and have an active meditation practice myself. In all of these disciplines, I actually have my own practices that I rely on. Over the past 16 years, I have used those disciplines and created products, created services, experiences that were ideas and that I've created income from. This is a process that I actively do, that I will continually do, that I'm going to share with you today. And it's really about taking the creative force that you are and letting it channel through you into this beautiful service or product that ultimately supports you, but also helps somebody else. I wanted to give you a little bit of that background about me just so that you knew where I was coming from, that I have done this before, and that I can also help you through some of this process. Because one of the biggest roadblocks isn't that you have so many ideas, it's that it's hard to just choose one, because oftentimes by choosing one, you actually think that all the rest you're not choosing. And there's a bit of a hiccup there. There's this inner friction because you're not sure which idea is actually going to sell. You're not sure which idea is going to be the best idea. And so there's this inner conflict that takes place, and you may not even begin because you're not sure. I just want you to know that I understand all of the limitations that can come up, because effectively you're a creative force. You know that. I know that about you. And that's actually an asset, because even though you have all of these ideas, once you actually select an idea, what's so wonderful about it is that it's like the channel opens up and your creativity doesn't stop. After selecting the one idea, it's enhanced. And that through selecting one of your ideas, you will continue to receive clarity and the creativity to allow that, to just allow that product or allow that service or allow that idea to create momentum, income, prosperity in your life, not only helping you, but that idea ends up helping so many other people. So in order to help you the best I could, I actually created a free guide. It's called Ideas to Income. And it's how to choose just one idea and turn it into an offer that sells in less than 1 hour. There's a few more things in that guide that I'd love for you to look at, for you to go through, so that way you really embody, you really get this out. So you take it from your head and out, and then into action and implementation. But today I wanted to really help you with the empowerment piece. All of your ideas, the majority of them were given to you. And on some level, there's been life experience, there's been maybe even people, there's been setbacks. And these setbacks have kind of chiseled away at your confidence. So in this video, I really want to help you break through the limiting beliefs that you may hold around turning your ideas into income. On some level, you've probably attempted following through with some of your ideas, or if you haven't even started, maybe the limiting belief is so strong because you've had various setbacks in your life that have chiseled away at your confidence. And I'm going to propose something that's, if when you really let it sink in, you'll see how powerful this is. So I'm going to acknowledge that you've had setbacks, you've had failures, you may have had people tell you you're not good enough, you may believe that you're not good enough to turn your ideas into income. And I'm just going to acknowledge that because it's a very real thing and it's a real sentiment. The remedy for that, a little drum roll here, the actual remedy for that is to take one of your ideas, turn it into a product or service offering, and make income from it. I know that sounds kind of like, what are you talking about? But it's true, guys. If you follow through, if you have this inspired idea, if you have any form of inspiration and creativity coming through you, I know what you really want to do is create that thing. I really know that that's what you want to do. And then all of these limiting beliefs come up that are kind of like gnawing at your confidence or your belief of being able or capable or enough to do that idea. I understand that that is also taking place, but one of the only ways for you to quiet that is to, yes, acknowledge that it's there. I hear the noise. And then to still take action anyway. And taking action, once you start taking one action and then the next step and then the next step, it quiets that noise. It quiets the disbelief because you begin to prove to yourself in taking action around your idea that it is possible. And so I just want you to let that sink in, because the way through that block, the way through any block is actually by going through it. And then by going through it, there's something that happens. There's this inner, you can call it alignment, but there's this inner growth that takes place in your ability to believe in what it is that you're receiving. Because I believe your creativity comes from a divine source. I believe my creativity, I wouldn't even call it mine, but the creativity that flows through me, I believe it comes from creation itself. And so if I'm given this spark of creativity, the best way to honor it is actually to follow through and to start creating. The only way that I've been here on this YouTube channel is by listening to that voice. I also had another voice, equally loud, if not louder, that was, what do you know? Why would anybody listen to you, Marisa? Why should you start a YouTube channel? You know, and that voice is very real. However, there's also this other voice that's saying, hey, you're creative. You have things that can help people. I gave you hands to help people. I gave you these ideas to help people. And so when I sit in that, like I'm sitting in it right now, and you can sit in your own creative inspiration, those ideas are there for you to create and to develop, not only to help people, but there's this inner workings, this beautiful thing that begins to open up within you when you actually listen, and it begins to actually heal that inner critic voice, or my business coach likes to call it a gremlin. And I love that because I feel like a gremlin kind of gets in there and gnaws away at, if you could imagine like an electrical box, it's like gets in there and like does something to the wiring. You're like, ugh, dang it, I got a shortage. I got to go fix something, right? And I feel like that happens in our mind a lot, that we have these shortages, we have these memories, we have these limiting beliefs, we have some past experience of failure, and it's hurt. There's pain, right? There's pain around failing or some aspect of failure. And so, what I want to offer you, number two, which is a really big position, it's an inner position, just like how to overcome that voice is actually by listening to the creative voice that's asking you to create. Another way to be with kind of the fear of beginning, or the sort of disbelief that your ideas could turn into income, is to imagine never following through. You've had this idea probably for some time, and then consider what it would feel like if you're 2, 5, 10, 20 years down the road and you never developed that brilliant, beautiful, helpful, service-filled idea. And that's got to be painful, right? So now I want you to get into the seat of taking that idea that you have and let's see the result. So we just did an exercise where you took that idea and you never see it through, and the weight of that, the pain of that. Now take that same idea and then see it happening. What would your life be like? How would you feel once that idea, you follow through with that idea and people are using your product, your service, your business that's extremely helpful, healing, creative? What would that feel like? And so with that in mind, it really allows you to believe that that idea that you have, that creative life force, beneficial service, artistic healing idea that you have, is something that people want because of how helpful, because of how beautiful, because of how creative, because it's actually helping them heal on some level. Now that, my friend, that is a beautiful reason to get started. What I'd love for you to do, download the workbook that I created. And whether you have a creative block, whether you have too many ideas, it's going to be the same process, and it's going to help you select one. And it's going to help you create the inner momentum that you need to take your beautiful idea and create income. And the way that you're going to do that is through packaging that idea up into a beautiful service offering product, business, and it's going to serve someone. And people are going to pay really good money because it's something that they've needed for a really long time. And you, my friend, may be the only person that they come across that has this particular service, product, idea that is actually going to help them. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy to also be of service to you. Please leave any feedback in the comments. What is your idea? What is it that you've been dreaming about? Let me know what are some of your limiting beliefs, so that way I can also support you there through more videos. If I know what your limiting beliefs are, I can also help you work through those to then select that idea and turn it into income. So go get that guide, and I'll see you in the next video. So if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other videos right here, and I'd be happy to help you over there.